Last week I started playing Dead Estate since it was on my Steam page and it was pretty cheap. It was like $5, and I think it's still currently $5 as I'm recording this video, which is taking forever and many attempts. But you know what? I'm just gonna continue and hopefully it does not take more as of now. Um, Honestly, I didn't think I would like Dead Estate. When I was on the Steam page, I just saw the way it was. It was a roguelike shooter, which I personally never played before, and I was never really into. But still, you know, I still kind of liked it, like the look of it, like the characters, for obvious reasons why. But yeah, I was like, you know what, I'm just give it a try, see how it is, and if I don't like it, I'm just gonna refund it. But honestly, I fell in love with the game. The game is so fun to play, and I just been sucked into it, and I just love playing the game. The many characters that it has is just, oh, I love the designs of the characters. I just love how they all feel. I love how they all play differently. I love it. They all have different stats. They all have a different way of playing. They all have a different way to approach the game, which I really like. A good example of this would be Judy. She's sponsored with a shotgun. She has good movement speed, which I really like, but her health is low. Her health is 4. Now, when we'll compare this to Jeff, the other character you can play as from the beginning, he has a handgun. He has a good amount of health. Yeah, he has 8, but he lacks the movement speed. So you got pick and choose who you want to play as and how you want to approach the game. Now moving on to the different floors there is only 4 stages at the beginning of the game. The 4 stages would be the ground floor, the upper story, the attic, and the laboratory. They all have different enemies and a different aesthetic from one another, which I really like, because you're not playing the same enemy as you're moving floors. You're playing a different one, so the game doesn't get stale at all, which I think is a perfect move by them. Among these stages is an enemy named Chuck. Now Chuck, he is a tank. If you stay on the stage for a little too long, you hear a little big boom 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 sound, and that's when you know when he's there on the stage with you. So he would chase you around and you can't kill him. Your attacks do 0 damage to him and you can't do nothing to him, so you have to leave the stage before he gets to you. There's also secret stages like the kitchen, where you get health buffs and stab buffs to your character based off what the merchant has at the time. And there's also a bank which lets you deposit money into it, and then you can withdraw the money in another run, which is a cool mechanic which I really like. In order to progress the stage, you must defeat a boss. And the thing is with these bosses is that for each stage there's 2 bosses that you can potentially fight. They're randomly selected, so it's not the same boss every single time. It's always gonna be a different boss. There's only 2 though, if that makes sense. There's 2 bosses, but it picks 1 for your fight, if that makes sense. I know there's a better way of explaining it, but I don't know, it's not coming to mind right now. But there also isn't just enemy NPCs. There's also friendly NPCs that can aid you in the game. Cordelia is one of the NPCs which can aid you in the game. You may have seen her before for very obvious reasons. But she can sell you perks, weapons, and she can also increase your stats. But these are not in just one shop. They are spread around the map. So Cordelia, she's a weapon merchant, she's a doctor, and she's someone you buy your perks from. So she plays like 3 different, I guess, personalities in a way. So you must go to different parts of a stage to find these different merchants of hers, right? But the weapon shop in the doctor office isn't always guaranteed to spawn, which, ooh, it can really change the outcome of your game very much. It has changed my outcome often in the game. I could be 1 HP and none of her shit would spawn. She would spawn, but none of the other stuff I need would spawn, and I would just die, which would end my run, which sucks. But I think it's a good system. As you progress the levels, her sprite changes, which I really like for, again, very obvious reasons. um, of course, these perks, weapons, and stat upgrades cost you coins. You get coins from killing enemies and destroying the boss around the stage. Very self-explanatory, I would say. I would say perks are a very big part of this game. Um, they are very much needed to progress the game. I would say you need perks, but they make it much easier. I'm pretty sure you can beat a game without the perks, but it's just gonna be hell on earth, I would say. Um, but there is different ways of getting perks without the shopkeeper. So there was a room which is kind of wave based where you had to defeat enemies in under 40 seconds in a set of 3 waves, and then once you do that, a perk drops from there, a random perk. And honestly, some perks can be pretty horrible, and you probably don't want to pick it up. I know I went along, I didn't pick up a lot of perks on my run, but you know, that's just me. But yeah, a lot of perks, they're good, but some of them are just horrible. But sometimes 2 perks can come out of it, so you know what? It's a win-win either way. You just have to do under 40 seconds. You can also get perks with a chest that spawns randomly on the map. It only contains 1 perk inside, which can change if you have a perk that changes that. So a perk can help you get more perks, you know, that sort of thing. This also applies with the weapons I was talking about. A weapon can randomly spawn in a chest, and they will pop up just like the perk in the chest, which I think is pretty cool. And there is a ton of perks in the game, even when I have 10 hours, which isn't a lot to be honest. But even with 10 hours in, I was still finding unique perks and different perks after, you know. After you beat the game for the first time using Jeff or Judy, whatever you want to be using, you maybe wonder to yourself, well, what is it to do now? I just beat the game, now what? Well, lucky for you, if you beat the game again using the character that you didn't use before and beat the game again, then you will unlock Cordelia. And a fun fact about her is that when you play her, another shopkeeper would take her place, which I think is a nice detail. But as I was saying, once you finish the game as Cordelia, you unlock 4 more stages, which, you know, there's a nice surprise waiting for you once you finish them. But you know, I won't spoil that. Apart from the main game, there are 2 other game modes. One is assignment Aya, and the other one is challenges where you just have to play with certain perks and beat the game. Overall, I think this game is pretty good. The OST is pretty awesome, and I pretty much like it. So I recommend that you pick it up and try for yourself. I may have not done a good enough explanation here, you know, my first review video, so you know, don't be harsh on me. If there's other games you guys wish for me to review, even though I know no one will probably watch this video, please leave it down in the comments below. And thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, I guess.